And this is called using partial products. Now we know what a product is. It's an answer to a multiplication problem, so we know we're doing multiplication. Partial just means part. So we're doing part of a multiplication problem, a big multiplication problem, putting it into smaller parts and then finding the answer to it. So let's do partial products using a 3-digit number. So we'll do 350, let's do 6. We're going to multiply that by 4. So partial products is telling me I'm going to come up, I'm going to multiply that. So 6 times 4 is 24, and I'm going to write it down. Make sure the 1, or the ones place is in the ones place, so that they're all lined up. Once I multiply that number, I'm going to go next door, and I always go from right to left because it's just going to be easier to do it that way. So I'm going to multiply everything on the top by everything on the bottom. So 4 times 6 we've already done. 4 times 5, that's not actually a 5, this is actually a 50. Hopefully you understand that by now. So 4 times 5 is 20, add your 0, is 200. I'm going to do the same thing with 3, but remember that's not a 3, that's actually a 300. So 4 times 3 is 12, and I add my 2 zeros there because it's 300 times 4, which is 1,200. Once I get all these partial products, so this is the partial part, I need to add them all up so I can get my full answer, my actual product. So I'm just going to add those up, and since we already have it in place value, it's pretty easy. You just add straight up and down. My answer should be 1,424. The one thing that you have to understand is, depending on how many digits we have, especially if you're only working with 1 digit down here, depending on how many digits you have at the top, that's how many lines you're going to have of partial products. So I'm just going to go straight up, always start with the ones. So 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10, but it's not 10. I almost made that mistake. It's actually 100 because it's 20. So 5 times 2 is 10, add the 0 is 100. 5 times 600 is 30, add my 2 zeros, and then 5 times 4,000 is 20, and I add my 3 zeros. Make sure you count those zeros up so that, especially if your number ends in 0, a lot of people will count that as a 0 that they're going to put down. Don't make that mistake. So all you got to do now is add, and that is my final answer. So those are partial products. Just remember that you're multiplying the place values. 5 times 1, 5 times 20, 5 times 600, 5 times 4,000, and it should make life a little easier.